Okay, we got Derrick versus Maps. Maps playing Nadia in the pink. So a commander we don't get to see very often versus Derrick, aka RPG Master. Playing Rhomb, another commander we don't see too often either. What are we gonna see here? Maps gonna mirror their opponent. Captures this village. You want to do that so you can heal your commander on turn 2. Or turn 3, I guess, in Nadia's case. And yeah, we're just gonna see. Oh, interesting. Maps is shooting the gates, but Derrick is shooting the building. That is very interesting. Huh, I hadn't thought of doing it that way. And maybe there's a reason for that, but who knows? Derrick's a good enough player that I would trust them to be shooting the correct thing. Oh, actually, I guess they just want to time it correctly so that they can knock down the village at a better time, but I don't know. Alright, early dragon. Gonna skip builds to do the dragon as well. Maps, yep. They're just gonna keep pushing. Knocking stuff down. Gets the dragon out, but skips builds. And Rhomb. I guess it makes sense to go dragon versus Rhomb, because Rhomb, unless he has tier 2, does not hit air. Okay, which comes out. Makes sense. Your opponent has a dragon, you want to have a unit that can, you know, shoot the dragon. Oh. Gonna pick up the sword kill. That village is gonna stay there. That means Maps is gonna be slower on this capture on the corners, but that dragon really gonna slow things down. Until the witch comes in which case then the dragon isn't doing anything, because dragon very scared of witch. Okay, Nadia is gonna slowly take this corner. And I think Derrick's just gonna be a little bit ahead as far as economy goes. Ooh, just gonna kill the knight. Says, you know what? You can kill my dragon. I'm just gonna do a whole bunch of damage. And if you do kill the dragon, I'm gonna hit you with my witch. Oh, that's actually very... Is that witch even gonna reach? I think it might. 7 range? Yeah. Okay, so you kill a knight and heavily damage the witch. Oh, but there's a mage behind it. Oh, this is like just becoming like that game. I don't know if anybody played this. It's a game where like you just like you put your hand down, your opponent puts their hand on top of yours, and then you put your hand on top of theirs. It's just becoming that. I think it's called Slappy Hands, but I don't know if that's actually the name. We're gonna go with Slappy Hands. Yeah, they're just playing Slappy Hands right now. Although in this case, the witch did not work out, so yeah, the mage behind that meant that, you know, your opponent now has 3 hands and you have 2, so you're just gonna lose Slappy Hands every time. Rhomb, just gonna keep pushing. And Rhomb can do this because Rhomb almost has tier 2. And is incredibly durable. And is basically immortal when they use grooves, so... Okay. Gonna keep pushing up. And Maps, what can they do? They can shoot their opponent's dog with a rifle. Not really ideal, but chip damage is chip damage. And they're just gonna keep pushing with their commander. Trying to slow down Rhomb. Gonna fight him from the water? Ooh. I mean, knights are gonna do like okay damage, but they're gonna take a lot in return. I guess the big advantage of doing this is that Rhomb no longer has like a full health tier 2. And you can do whatever you want when you have full health Rhomb tier 2. You just run straight into your opponent's army and not care. Because I actually don't think it's possible to kill Rhomb when they have tier 2, unless you have like a ton of witches and indirects. It's like nothing does damage to Rhomb in any significant way aside from like trebuchet crits, like golems, tons of rifles and witches. Okay, Nadia gonna pop groove, do some damage. Not a huge amount, but actually that really didn't help that much, honestly. Just like there's a bit too much over on this side. My map's just gonna be able to, you know, pop a heal on a bunch of these units. You could just chuck a mage heal down, and that's like most of that damage just negated. And yeah, I think Derrick is gonna take this one. Yeah, mage heal comes in. We're gonna see a night crit come in. And that is almost all she wrote at that point. Rhomb just gonna sit on tier 2. Derrick's just like, yeah, you know what, I don't need to use this yet. He's gonna slowly build up the eco leads and keep it and make sure it's maintained. You don't want to overextend and then your opponent just like gets a really nice fight one turn and pushes you all the way back. Okay. But map's not out of it yet. They're gonna get this night kill. Or not. Wow, very low health survival rate there. Yeah, we're just gonna see. Maps try and front switch actually. I think this is a smart play. There's not a huge amount over here. That said, it's just gonna leave a lot of things over here open. Really? Oh, okay. The sword crit didn't quite work out, but you know what? Close enough. And at this point, yeah, Hex comes in. I think Rhomb just walks forwards. Picks up. Is this gonna kill? Probably. Yep. Rhomb, tier 2, scary damage. Very scary damage. And I think Derrick just wins the turn after this one. Yeah, just so much damage coming in. Yeah, Rhomb doesn't build groove while they have groove activated, but ooh, that's a lot of army, so yeah. Army front switch. Thought that was an okay idea, but I think maps is just a little bit too far behind now. And actually thinking back to when they did the dragon build and then later losing it, they skipped 2 units to build that dragon. That was a huge unit loss actually when they lost the dragon. Unfortunately losing out on the slappy hands as well. Maps is doing like a pretty good turn of defending right now. Like, I don't think there's a better way you could play from this position, but I do think that Derrick just has a little bit too much right now, and that is going to result in them taking the win. And yeah, Knight comes in, deals with the rifle. So now Derrick is upper rifle. Rhomb gonna continue to be aggressive. I guess there's not a lot that can stop Rhomb right now, so yeah, just picks up more and more kills. More night crits, really nice use of the positioning here. Good use of the rifle as well. I would have liked to have maybe seen the Hex come in first before all of that happened, just so the knight would have gone down, but it doesn't really matter that much. There is very little here from maps anymore. And Nadia doesn't even have a tier 1. Just gonna try and, you know, get the damage that Nadia can. Okay. Doesn't even get the kill on that knight. And I think Derrick can just win at this point. Yep. Suicide's a knight. Gonna see sword crit, big mage heal. Knight hits from behind. Yeah, Rhomb comes in to finish it off. And that's a well played game by Derrick. Yeah, looking very strong right now. I believe they, at this point, have qualified for the main Wargroove Championships event. So, they're definitely caliber of player that is, I would say, very good at this game. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of them. Maps, I think, had some cool ideas. I think there was just some misplays. Losing the dragon like that, it makes sense to try and go for dragon. Wargroove 1, I think dragon makes a lot more sense just because witch doesn't hard counter it as hard. But in this case, like, the dragon just wasn't able to like really leverage much. I think it went to the left when it could have gone to the center and maybe like threatened more sides. So a little bit unfortunate there, but you know, these players, they come into these events, they play games, they learn, they improve. I'm looking forward to seeing more from maps in the future. So yeah, props to maps.